Welcome all, no mai haramai. Welcome to the Pōhatu Penguins project webinar. Today, we're going to start with our karakia. Mauri ora kia mātou, arahina mātou ia mātou mahi, ki mihia he huarahi mo te kaupapa o te mātou rangahangarau, āwhina atu, āwhina mai, te pou e here nei ia mātou, hui e, tai ki e. Ka pai. Don't know who noticed that I almost tried to jump straight to this bit, but today we're in for a fascinating session. In this webinar, Iain, Kevin, Ave and Rachel will take us on an incredible journey to Pōhatu Penguins and the Helps Pōhatu Conservation Trust, showing how Iain transformed their penguin colony into an interactive digital experience. From a web-based virtual colony to a fully immersive Minecraft education world. You'll see how students can explore Pōhatu Flea Bay, interact with conservation staff, and tackle exciting learning challenges. Get ready to be inspired by how technology brings conservation to life for learners worldwide.
All right, kia ora koutou, everybody. Right, I will share my screen. I'm Iain Cook-Bonney, and I'm very pleased to be able to share with you our journey today. So I'm just going to quickly hop over to here, hopefully get the right one, and we'll go. Here we go. All right, so first of all, a little bit about me. So, ko waiao, I am a STEAM and digital technologies facilitator in Ōtepoti, Aotearoa, New Zealand. And I've been an educator for, going on 25 years now. And currently I work with schools to develop and support their expertise in digital technologies, 21st century skills, design thinking and project-based learning. And for the past 2 years, I've also been working as a resource developer for Technology Education New Zealand and as an MOE PLD facilitator for learning architects. And I'm just going to hand over now to our other presenters and guests today because they are our important clients for today. And perhaps, if you would like to introduce the other members of the team.
Yeah, cool. Oh, well, so this is Kevin, my husband, and I'm Ave. And we both wear a lot of hats, but we work for Pōhatu Penguins in Akaroa, Banks Peninsula area, and that's an ecotourism business. And then over the years, of course, the conservation work is growing and growing, and we were hoping to do a bit more research, and this started the Helps Pōhatu Conservation Trust to kind of focus more on the research side of our penguin colony that we have. Yeah, so you can go to the next screen.
Go to the next one. Here we go.
Yeah. So it's a really special, very unique place. It's on the very southeastern coast of Banks Peninsula, and it's a working sheep and cattle farm. It's a historic farm. The history there, the cultural history is really amazing, from the Ngāti Mamoi people, Ngāi Tahu, and then later on some of the first European settlers. Was one of the oldest farms on the peninsula. And it's also the kind of the blue heart of this thing called the Wild Side Project. So it's a marine reserve as well. So it's a really unique place to have a marine reserve. We're a big group of friends and family. I grew up with penguins. So did my cousins. My aunt and uncle are the owners of Pōhatu Flea Bay Farm. And it's a really cool spot. And more and more, we're doing a lot of education and science and advocacy for the penguins that live there. We can go to the next slide. Yeah. So the penguins that we have there are also really unique to Canterbury. It's a special colour morph called the white flippered penguin. So it's all the same species as the korora little penguin, but it is unique. You can see on that slide there, the colour is like a lighter blue colour. And of course, the white flipper is why you can see it's got white leading and trailing edge on their flippers, and they're slightly bigger. And they're also a threatened threatened species, a Tonga species, so they're protected, and we do a lot of conservation work with them. You can go to the next slide. The big things that we do out in Pōhatu, it started over 30 years ago. The main job we do is predator control, and the ecotourism over quite a few years now has been paying for a person to go around and do the predator control. The rehabilitation is another big thing of kind of orphaned, abandoned penguin chicks, sick, wounded penguins as well, and that's my main job. And then the research side of it, Dr. Rach, who's down there and will be talking about later, that's her main job. And of course, we've got education and advocacy, which is something we absolutely love. We had a school group out there today on a field trip, science, doing some science and learning about adaptations. So it's all like a big holistic approach to how we can protect our penguins and how we can live and farm, have livelihoods out there in this place. So it's just all about it. But yeah, you can go to the next slide. Yeah.
Right. Well, before I go into here, do you want to have a wee moment to talk about your role, Rachel?
Sure. It'd be very brief. My name is Dr. Rachel Hickcox, and I joined the Helps Pōhatu Conservation Trust in 2022. And that's when our current research and monitoring program began. So I run that program out at Pōhatu, and this involves weekly monitoring of around 230 nest boxes within the bay itself. And in addition to collecting all of that monitoring information, we are also conducting research, which involves putting GPS trackers on little penguins to see where they're foraging out at sea. We also have several students from universities around New Zealand that are conducting projects ranging from diet to nest selection to habitat, marine selection, and many other projects in between. So I was lucky enough to join the team and be able to run this project, and talking with many people over the years, including Abe and Kev. We really wanted to find a way that we could convey all of the research and science that we're doing out at the colony and get that information out not only to scientists but to the general public, just to kind of communicate all the really great things about little penguins and the work that we're doing, which is how we got connected with Iain, and I'll let him talk about the connections further.
Thank you, Rachel. Yes, so before we get into having a look at this project, I just thought I'd share about the sort of daisy chain of how we came to be connected in here. So I started with me and on the left there too, and I had a colleague, Matt Bateman at Learning Architects, who we were talking about STEAM and project-based learning, and he said, oh, you should be talking to James Nicotine, who is the founder of Blue Cradle, which is a marine conservation NGO here. And James had a previous relationship and had been working with Kevin Ave at Pōhatu, and actually, which year was it? Was it a couple of years ago? You created a video. 2020 created a video and a documentary about korora that was published and received some acclaim, I believe, and things like that. Was very well received, and that's actually part of this project now as well too. So that's sort of how this project came to be. And I met Kevin, Ave and Rachel, and we talked about what it was that they wanted for this project, for what the outcome they wanted to be. So we were putting our design thinking hats on. So in the initial stage, the brief was to create an interactive educational resource that could engage users and let them explore Pōhatu Flea Bay, and while also learning, as Rachel said, about penguin conservation and about the amazing korora penguins themselves and all the work that happens with the Helps Conservation Trust and Pōhatu Penguins. And as we talked about this, we thought there was two potential audiences. One was in education with schools and as a classroom resource for teachers and students. And the other audience was the general public, and in some way to share these experiences with the general public. So after some discussion with James initially and what they were looking at, I suddenly thought that, oh, I think I've got an even better idea and a way to make an interactive resource. So I started to introduce him to FrameVR. So this was our first solution. And FrameVR is a web-based virtual reality meeting space. So you can actually create 3D virtual worlds in here and meet, and it is collaborative in here as well. And I'd actually used the platform with my previous role as the facilitator of the Otaku STEAM cluster, which ran from 2019 through to 2022, end of 2022. So it was right through the COVID period. And we had all these schools working together that couldn't meet and couldn't do that, and they were working in isolation and doing some fantastic stuff. And we wanted to find a way that we could share the work that had been done, the mahi. So we created virtual exhibitions using Frame, which you'll be able to see shortly. And that allowed them to meet virtually and showcase their work and collaborate and discuss. And it was a great success. So when this project came about, I thought, oh, this would be a really good use of that tool. So here are the reasons why. So one was that it was web-based, so you didn't need some special software that you downloaded on a computer to use it. You could use it from any browser, which meant that it was accessible on multiple device types. So you can use it on your laptop, you can use it on a Chromebook, and we're trying to get it up and running, and on iPads and things like that too. So on the devices you are most likely to find in most classrooms across Aotearoa. And the other thing was that you didn't need an account to sign up if you're a viewer. You could just get the link and hop in, and away you go. Easy to navigate. So pretty much with simple game-based controls. So using your mouse or your touch on a touchpad, and sort of the WASD keys or the arrow keys on your keyboard. And you could make it interactive. So we could have elements in there that users could go in there and they could interact with to make it an engaging experience. So they could be different types of media and resources, so things like images and 3D models and sound and all sorts of things that you'll see too. And I've been lucky enough to have some really amazing support from the FrameVR team. So you'll see the photo there is Gabe Baker. He is the Vice President of FrameVR. So I reached out to him and said, this is the project that we are doing. It's an educational resource. Would you be happy to support this? And they came back, and he came back and said, sure, we'd love to support you. So what they have done for us is sort of upgraded the tier, I guess you say, of the frame. So it's not a free basic one. It's got all the bells and whistles, which lets us have more people in the space at one time. But also they assisted us with sort of the back end things, helping us optimize and design and troubleshoot the environment when we were doing it. And then personally, I had a lot of learning there to do, as we'll talk about. But it was really good to have that support. So shall we have a wee look? We'll have a wee look, explore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to hop over to a new tab. So hopefully, yes, you should be able to see that. So you can see this is how we're accessing it, just through the browser. And you can see this is what happens when you start. You just put in your little name tag and we click connect. And we are now in Pōhatu Flea Bay in virtual reality. And I can look around here with my mouse. And you can see here, this is what do we call it, Kevin? The proposed sort of new conservation centre. Currently, this is a wool shed. And well, it was last time I visited, and it's going to be developed into sort of a new space where they can have this sort of stuff. Yeah, conservation centre. Yeah. And what we can see here, we've got different types of media in here. So we have some photos, and we can bring in PDFs. We can embed websites. So we've got a little form over here. And if I look around here, you can come over here and see there's a map of the colony. I'll try and drive slowly so we don't get whiplash and things like that too. So you can see here's a map of the colony. So we've had all these resources that Pōhatu Penguins have provided. It's been really good to have all of that in here. And I can see some people are joining us. So you can see in here, some people have jumped in. And if I actually look around, I'll see, there we go, there's Ruth in here too. So it's a collaborative space in here too. So it's a multi-user space. So if you're using this with your classroom, you know, all your students be in here and exploring together. And as a teacher, you can be, you know, taking them around and exploring that space in here too. So you can see there's a mix of different things we can pop here and some information, and we can have a wee look at those. And so, for example, over here, we've got some 360 photos. So on my first visit to Pōhatu, we took up some 360 cameras and spent the weekend exploring the entire colony and taking, it ended up being a couple of hundred 360 videos. And you can see those and explore some of those as you go in here too. So if I just walk into this, we are now transported to Flea Bay, and I can look around and see what it actually looks like in real life. Here too. So there is standing on Kayak Beach, and exit, I just walk backwards out of it, or any direction out of it, and I can carry on. So you can see I can walk out of here and I can explore the whole of Flea Bay. So I'm not going to take you through too much because, you know, it's nice to leave some surprises there and what you can and can't do, but I will have a wee look at a couple of the features over here too. So, for example, if I go down here to here, you can see we've got little spawn points, so you can jump to different places in there rather than having to walk over here. So we might jump over to Shireen's house over here. So this is the Helps farmhouse, and you can go in here at the moment, and here is Shireen. And there she is. And so we've got some text in here. You've also got an audio file which you can play. I'm not sure if this will play if you'll hear it. We'll give it a go and we'll see. There we go. So you've got the audio file, but also Shireen here is actually an AI avatar. So you can actually talk to Shireen and you can say, can you tell me about penguins? And she will have a wee think for a bit. And you can talk to her about that. So she's loaded up with all the information and about her experiences and specialities and things like that. And there's an avatar like this for each of our staff here. So say, for example, we want to go and visit Ave, for example, over here. So here's Ave over here. Close the chat. And again, you can go and listen to some dialogue here, or you can chat to there. We do have, and it's pretty new in this, is that you can actually talk to them. So you can turn on speak and turn on your microphone, and then they will talk back to you. So again, bringing that UDL, that Universal Design for Learning, trying to make things accessible in there too. So as you go around the island, you can visit all these different people. Hello, guest. Have fun exploring and interact with them, learn about what their jobs, their roles are at the colony, and take that information. And we have, if we jump back to, let's go back to the Conservation Centre. There's a couple of things that we can be doing here. We do have a quiz built up over here, so you can try your hand at the Pōhatu Penguins quiz. And the other thing that we can do in here is if we pop out here, you might notice, and kids are quick to notice, there's a little korora here who has lost their 7 siblings. So hidden around the whole colony are 7 other little korora like this, so that if you go and find them, this one likes to hide under buildings. There you go. I will give you a clue for where the first one is. And we'll have a wee look. And if I look, is there one? Just like in real life. Oh, look at him. There he is, hiding under the building. And if I click on him, hopefully, it's not going to work today because I'm showing you. He will actually disappear and head back to his sibling, and we can find all the rest, and they give you a clue to the next one. Oh, there he goes. You found me. So as you find one, it gives you a clue to find the next one. And we tested this out at the Days of Ice exhibition last year with the general public, and it was very popular and very engaging. Lots of kids and adults alike enjoying traipsing all over the colony looking for these hiding penguins. How are we going there? All right, so that is FrameVR. And what I'll do is I'll just pop back to our slideshow and we'll carry on with that there too. So our second solution was Minecraft education, because why Minecraft education? Because it was great to be able to put some interactivity into the FrameVR. There's a couple other things that people can interact with that I'm going to let people discover on their own when they get a chance to have a look later on. But we couldn't do things like building and creating in Frame. So it was really good to interact with material that's already been made. But if we really wanted to put our design thinking hats on and our technology hats on and create some solutions, then FrameVR wasn't quite going to meet our needs there. So I also happen to be a global Minecraft education mentor. And of course, I suddenly thought, oh, why aren't we making this in Minecraft? So between one meeting and the next, I suddenly came to the meeting and said, Kevin Ave, I've built your Minecraft world as well. And this lets us do some things that weren't possible in the frame space. So if we have a look at what those were. So here's our why for Minecraft education. So one was we had a global audience already with schools and educators and students using it all over the globe. It's freely available in New Zealand schools through the Ministry of Education Microsoft software agreement. So you can get that in your school. It's a familiar platform for many, many students. So there are a lot of Minecrafters there at home, plus many schools are using it for learning purposes within their schools. And the other reason is it was easy to publish for public use. So I'm currently in the process of creating that and submitting the world to the Minecraft education portal on the platform. So it'll be available through there as well. And as we said, within Minecraft, we had the facility to have some creativity and design thinking in there too. So should we go and have a wee look at this? Here we go. I'm just going to go to here. We're going to stop sharing that. And oh, there's my, there we go. And now I'm going to share the screen. All right, so here we are in Minecraft. I've loaded up, ready to go. So let's resume and see. So this is what it looks like when you first start the world. So if I resume, you start here and you can see we've got some little signposts, but basically what's happened is that you have just stepped off the tourism van. So you've got a ride from Kiev, perhaps from Akaroa, and you've stepped off the van. And we can go over here and, oh, you can see some native wildlife and you can talk with Danielle, the tour guide. So you can interact with these NPCs. And this was another feature that I really like about Minecraft is that you can have these texts and NPCs in here, but you've also got immersive reader built in here too. So for our low literacy students or even ESOL students, that want to have it translated into a different language, you can do that through the immersive reader there as well. So you can see, just like in the frame, we have, and we've got a white heron come to visit us. That's lovely. We have Pōhatu Flea Bay rebuilt and created in Minecraft education. And there's a bit of a story or a journey about how this came to be. So for both of the FrameVR and the Minecraft world, I needed real geographical data to use to be able to build these worlds. And I was lucky to find that Land Information New Zealand had done an aerial LiDAR scan of Banks Peninsula just a couple of years ago with a 1 meter resolution, which is very high. So I was able to download some height maps and use those in different ways to build both worlds. So what you're seeing is a pretty accurate representation of the layout, the landscape at Pōhatu, slightly magnified, but enough so that if you visited after using these worlds, you should recognize where you are in there too. So you can see as we move into this world, we've got some NPCs. I've built some custom blocks like the penguin nest boxes here that you can see. So you can see those and you can talk to that. It has the New Zealand natives pack added into it. So you'll see lots of New Zealand animals around the place that you would find around the place. Oh, I'm just going to do my little drifty thing. And you can start to talk to all the NPCs around in here too. And over here, you can start to see, here's an example of one of the creative activities here too. So you might notice that at the moment, we are currently playing this world in what is called adventure mode. So if I come over here, I can't actually dig a hole in the ground or build anything here. But over here, I have a space where I can build. So that means that we just can't have people running rampant and destroying Pōhatu Flea Bay. They can only build in designated spaces. But it does mean over here I can come into the box and open this up and get some blocks out of it. Oh, that didn't work. I should put it in my tray, shouldn't I? That looks better. And now I can move up onto here and I can build in this space. So now I can start using my technology skills, start thinking about my design thinking, and design and prototype a superior penguin nest box, shall we say, in here too. So it's a chance for that. Go into there too. And then as we move through Flea Bay, you'll see we can once again go and visit Shireen over here in her lovely garden. So you can go and talk to Shireen. She is again an NPC, and we can talk to her. Yeah, that too. But you'll notice that she has an activity in her garden in here too. So we can go over here. And this is based on a real issue that Shireen has. The sheep have got into the garden, and she has a lovely garden in front of her house, but they've eaten the flowers. So you can see the flower bed behind there is nice and pretty, but these other ones are looking pretty bare. So you can go and hop into the chest once again, open it up, grab some flowers, and you can plant them and plant out some new flower beds. And depending on the age of your students, you may get them doing that manually, but you also may be getting them to use the agent in there and code them. So that you can use different languages with code in there to do that. You can use blocks or Python and different things there. Those of you who are familiar with Minecraft will know about that too. And then you can see as we move through the space, we've got other NPCs to interact with. Some are just giving us some information, like Francis the farmer here too. So Francis is Shireen's husband and talks about the covenants on the farm. And then as you move through, you'll see some other spaces in here too. So we've got paths kind of linking all the areas together, and there's signposts normally that tell you where to go to get to different places. You can see there is the conservation centre, just like in FrameVR, built up on the hill. But let's go over here and talk to Ave again. And oh, look, there is a korora down here too. Hello, you. And you can go over here, talk to Ave about rehabilitation. You can see there is another creative activity here too, again built on something that actually happened, and you can do that too. Was that again? That was 2020? Yeah, 2020. Yeah,
mega flood.
yeah, the mega flood, and destroyed this this tour hut here too, where they keep all their gear. But again, you can see we've got the damaged tour hut. And they can use the items in the chests over here they can actually raise this to the ground and design a whole new tour hut. Plus also the idea they'd love to have a rehabilitation centre in there too. So with some requirements there as well. And there are several other spaces in here that you can go and view. I'm just going to wander over here because I added a new person in here today. And I just want to show Kevin Ave, as well as all of you, what we're doing in here too. So you can see over here, this is Geraldine. Okay, so again, you can talk to Geraldine about adopting a penguin in here too. And there's some information here about penguin adoption. We can also go up here and look at these nest boxes. Oh, there's a little stick consent. And they're dotted all over the place, but this one has a nice little button that will actually let you spawn a korora coming out of the box. We have kids that spam that, but that's all right. But there are several other entities, NPCs to visit. and activities that you can do across this space. And when that comes out, I'll leave those for you to find when you get a chance to explore. So this is the Minecraft world. And I'm just going to escape that. And we will go back to Zoom. We'll stop that share. And I'll come back to our presentation. Excellent. Hang on, bear with me. Just trying not to get an infinity mirror. It's not well. There we go. Right. Let's go back here. Okay, so behind both of these resources, we have a website, so built-in Google Sites, which provides some expanded information about Pōhatu Penguins, but also some teaching and learning resources in there too. And I'll give you a quick look at what that looks like. So here we go. And this is still under construction. It's still growing and building, but you can see here we're at our homepage, but we've got information about marine reserves. So here we meet Ben, who's another member of staff here too. You can see that we've got that information here expanded. We've got some supporting videos, and then we get into sort of teaching things. So what are the big ideas that they'll look at in here too? So these can be taken from science or technology curriculum, and then some activities in here that are coming through here as well. And as you go through these different places, each page might have different some activities or not, depending on what the content is in there too. So you can meet some of the animals and the wildlife that live there, and you can come over to let's have a look here to see about some of the things I've got in here. So all of this will be available for teachers and for students to access to use as part of a teaching unit around these two interactive resources. And we've just got an activity kit here from Penguins International, all about feathers, which is full of activities and experiments that you can do all around little blue penguin feathers and how special they are, all aligned to New Zealand curriculum standards in science in there too. So that sits behind both of those interactive resources, as I said before. And if we carry on, going on to here too. So how are you going to be able to access these? So hopefully by the end of term is really my goal, to have these out and available. So soon to be published, it'll be available through the Pōhatu Penguins website, and for them to do that, we'll put it on through the 10 store. And as I said before, it'll be submitted, the Minecraft side of things will be submitted to the Minecraft education portal, and you'll be able to find those things there in at education.minecraft.net, and do that in the near future. Future plans, and yeah, Kevin, if you can jump in here and talk about these as well if you wish, because you've got this happening this weekend.
On Saturday,
Yeah.
we have the Sea Week Fair, and we're hoping to have it already up so people can just come on in and start giving it a go. So we have quite a few people from Christchurch right through all of Akaroa, a lot of local kids, a lot of people walking in and out, even random tourists. So they'll be able to come in and check it out. And like one of our big things is we're actually we've got this space that we can use, which is close to our office, well, next door to our office, and we're hoping to kind of create like an educational centre that tourists can use, schools can use. It's a bit of an exhibition space, and we're hoping to have this available that people can actually use it and play around with it. And something that's a really nice rainy day activity, like if we can't go on a tour or a field trip, we could do this as well. So it'll be really nice. And we're also, of course, wanting to potentially use the conservation centre in Pōhatu to have maybe a screen in there that, again, rainy day activity for all the guests that are staying the night in Pōhatu. Maybe they could have a little bit of an explore. It's just, we're kind of like thinking about ideas, but there's kind of abundant ideas of how we can use this. And even today, with the field trip at school, they were like wanting information, and I'm like, oh, I wish this was already ready, because they're really keen to get their hands on this website already. So, so yeah, it's just got a lot of potential. But yeah,
Yeah. And as like when Ave was introducing at the start of the webinar, there's a lot of history behind Pōhatu Flea Bay, and that, you know, right back from you know, pre-settlement through to the Māori history on there. There's a historic pā site, isn't there, on there too, that we can explore and sort of share about as well too, and then also getting into the history of the farm and the sort of European settlement side of things too. So it would be really nice to be able to add those features to both resources and to the website and there too. And then another thing that we've been in talks with and we need to see is we have a potential collaboration to make a public display through the Smith City department stores. So that means you would be able to walk into a Smith City, and they might have a big screen and a game controller, and you would be able to perhaps walk through the Minecraft world and experience the Minecraft world and learn about Pōhatu penguins and penguin conservation and marine reserves in a public space in there too. So that's a really exciting potential collaboration that we hope will come to fruition. Yes, there too. And that, I believe, just about, brings me to the end of my slideshow, talking there too. And that, so if I stop sharing, and I think that gives us some time there, Ruth, for questions and things.
Well, I have to say you were absolutely brilliant first with your timekeeping. I'll have to take some notes and get some strategies off you. Thank you very much for a fascinating and well-timed presentation. Our attendees haven't seemed to be using the Q&R function. So I might use this time to just plug and say, hey, we have 4 wonderful people right here, ready and willing to answer questions if you do have any burning questions. Otherwise, I might do just a little plug, because we have the possibility of engaging with a case study about Pōhatu penguins. So what I will do is I will briefly share screen. Oops. And just getting everything in place first. Share screen. And now in our brand new TENS forums, you can go through to the information sheets. And we have on our information sheets, case studies. And in terms of case studies, it's always like, well, what do you do with a case study? How do you use it in the classroom? So there are a couple of quick guides. This is a little 2-pager, just saying, hey, well, what do you actually do with it? How do you use it? And then a full walkthrough. So I'll just share. Here is the result of an in-depth interview with Iain about the process that was followed. What was the technological process that was followed in the design of both the FrameVR and the Minecraft. Yeah, plug complete. Have we got any questions? So we've got a comment from Lena saying, Kia ora, Iain, thank you so much. You've done this with our cluster and it's amazing.
Thank you, Lena. Yeah. Yes, the case study is quite good. It's a great read, and Ruth's done a great job on writing it because it gives a little bit of more information about the building journey, I guess you would say. And you get to look at sort of the behind the scenes. So some of the issues that, say, I had having to navigate my way through tools like Blender and some other tools to build the Minecraft world as well. So there's a lot of learning and a lot of design thinking and following that technological process along the way to bring these resources to fruition. So yeah, it's a good read.
Cool. So it looks like the presentation was so thorough that you answered everybody's questions.
Wow, that's really good.
What I will do then is I will come back to our slideshow so that I can remind everyone, hey, we're in the business of education. Feedback, feed forward, feed everything. It's essential. And we love to know your thoughts, what happened, what could be done to improve. Do you have any questions that came up as a result of this webinar at 3 o'clock in the morning? Anything basically that you would like to share with us. And don't forget, the webinar video will be available in the next 5 to 7 days on the YouTube channel. Right. Okay. It looks like we will finish a little bit early. Next month, do the plug. No, we won't. Let's go back. Sorry, I will do a formal thank you to everyone. Thank you so much for being here and for doing such a wonderful job that's so vital, looking after our korora. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou. Here we go. The other thing that happens as a teacher sometimes is it's very easy to go, right, let's shoot on to the next thing. Next month's webinar will be about social media algorithms and rangatahi experiences. So we're getting some very, very new research straight from the classification office. So do join us. And on that note, I will close us with a karakia. Me karakia tātou. Kia mātou katoa, kua mutu mātou ia mātou mahi, ia mātou kaupapa hoki. Arahina mātou, kia kawe mātou ia mātou haipapa, kia whakatapua mātou ki ngā kaupapa me ngā mea e whakapono. Manakitia mai mātou.